That which is cosmic awareness is available. Please proceed.
Today's date is March 21st, 2019. Will Berlinghoff is the voice of cosmic awareness, and Dee Dee is energizer and questioner. Does awareness have an opening message for us?
This awareness does have an opening message. It would remind one and all that today's date, the 21st of March, is that which is also associated with the spring equinox. Further to this, there is that event which is called a full moon, and in this case, a super moon event. This means that the energies at this time, the equinox energies, the super full moon energies, are all combining so that it is a very powerful time energetically, and that many do not realize that they can be so affected by the stellar energies, the energies of the solar system and of the galaxy and of the universe. Yet it is always so, and has always been so, that humans are very intimately connected to the planetary influences, the solar influences, the galactic influences. But this is not that which is much favored by those who have power and control. It is not that they do not know that this happens, these planetary effects, these influences. It is more that they do not wish you to know that you may be so affected. And yet, many know of this. Sometimes it is at an unconscious level, in that they do not know what is happening, why energetically certain things are expressing themselves. But in a way, they still have this understanding and this knowledge because they are connected unconsciously. What is needed now, and what is happening now, is the unconscious is being brought into consciousness. And more are starting to understand that the influences of their lives are not simply of their doing, although, and this is of importance, it is always of one's doing. What this means is that you are, as creator beings, always creating in accordance to the influences, be they planetary or national or global or personal, your own reality. But how many believe this? How many would express themselves this way without feeling that they will be ridiculed for saying that they believe, for example, in astrology, that the planets have influences? As this is a reality mindset now that is expressed through scientific theory and belief systems, it is not favorable to express ever that you might feel that the planets, the moon, the sun around you, above you, have any influence on you, but it is still nonetheless the case. For example, at this time, also what is occurring is that which is called Mercury retrograde, a 3-week period where communications, for example, are often scrambled. It is a time when it is appropriate to go within oneself to find the inner answers. And yet, due to the system of reality that is in existence, most push forward, and then the confusion starts. They do not understand that the confusion may be because they are not truly following their inner dictates of what is needed for them. For example, relaxing at this time, going inwardly at this time into the energies that are prevalent in one's life. They still let the outside factors of life, the control factor, that being the control factor of others upon them, be the major influence in their life and in their way of thinking. Many times this awareness has expressed that you are creator beings. And yet it would seem that this is not so, because things happen to you all of the time, things that are outside of your control, or at least it so seems. But what if it is that from an unconscious level you are hooked in, locked in still, without the conscious realization of this being so? And if it is so that other belief systems, the beliefs of others, are that which dominate you, and that you are unconscious to the truth of the matter, even though unconsciously you are tuned into the matter, you have a contradiction in terms. As a creator being, it seems that you should be able, if it is so, to create what you want instantly. But this awareness reminds you that you are living on a planet that is embedded in a third-dimensional state of reference, and that even though the planet herself is conscious, even though the planet herself knows that she is part of the galaxy, part of the solar system, and is in her own way conscious to this, it is still the fact that those living upon her surface who are not aware will let themselves be dictated by those who are aware and in control. Part of the control, of course, is how you are programmed to believe. And if you are programmed not to believe that there are other influences in your life that you can tune into and use to your advantage, then you will live outside of that, always at the effect not of the inner order of things, but rather the disorder of things being what they are, as they are manipulated and controlled by those who have an awareness of how it all works. Therefore, when this awareness says you are a creator being, but you do not buy into it because your belief set, mindset, is such that you are actually a victim and that everything will always happen to you to disrupt your lives, then that is what you will be experiencing. It is so. Look at your own life. How many of you can say, I am in full charge and control of my life, and that I can work my life to the degree that I can achieve through awareness and consciousness, the consciousness of that which is spirit in nature, the consciousness of that which is greater in one's being than what is told to one in the manipulated and controlled belief systems that are in effect on this planet. This being so, and if you are one who is told there are other factors that you have no control over, and that these factors will always have precedent, and will always be that which manifests first and foremost despite your intent or your willingness, then how is it that you could ever see yourself at all as a creator being? But what if there truly is a different order of things? What if there are those influences such as the moon, the supermoon, or the equinox energies, or whatever other energies that are outside of oneself but are not truly removed from oneself? Outside of oneself in that the belief being that you cannot be influenced by the moon or any other planetary effects, but you can be influenced by hidden power brokers who hold the reins, who hold the keys, who tell you what reality is all about and how it must be lived. You are still at the effect of those who have understanding and knowledge that you do not have at a conscious level. And this is that which you are being asked to question very strongly now. And yet, it is the greatest challenge of all, for part of the system is to embed you in a system of fear and confusion and denial that you have any power or capacity to create anything in your life other than that which is ordained and sanctified and commissioned by those who have an understanding of how it is. As you break away from the mindsets of those who are your controllers, your manipulators, your masters. There is a strong sense of fear because you are not certain it is so. And to believe something that you have been told all of your life is not so, that you have no control and that you are a victim ultimately always, and that things will always happen to you, or that the government will always have power over you, or the rich will always have advantage over you, and you see no way of breaking away from this. And then you have some suspicion it might be otherwise, or you have some suspicion that the lies you are told are indeed lies and there is a different set of truth, and you are moving towards this. The result is that you feel, at the very least, uncomfortable in this approach. Yet what is happening is that the influence of planets, for example, such as Aries, Mars, or Jupiter, or Saturn, or Pluto, or Neptune, Uranus, nor any other planets, the moon, the sun, having influence, is actually that which is the influence of the divine itself, is actually the influence of stellar forces, solar forces, planetary forces that are part of a very connected system. And that as you begin to understand your place in the order of things, at the center, not at the outside, you begin to respect those energies. They become meaningful to you. You begin to understand that, for example, during a 3-week period of a Mercury retrograde, it might be better to simply go within and flow with the energies versus trying to force things that could come apart at the seams, could not work out at all, because the energies are such that you need to go within. It was once so that during the year the different seasons had different effects. For example, the spring season was always the time to plant crops, to grow those crops during the summer, and to harvest those crops during the fall or autumn. Then winter. And as it was so without electricity or any other modern convenience that one could do little during winter, it was normal to be self-contained, to go within, to rest more, to keep oneself warm, and all of the traditional things that one had to do during winter simply to survive. Yet now, in these modern times, seasons, even if they are strong seasons, such as been experienced over the last winter in North America, are not honored as times to relax, to hibernate, to go within. And such is the case that all push it during the winter because one can push it. This awareness is not abdicating that one completely abandon any activity during the winter and simply vegetate. It is not that this is needed because you are now living in a different time where you can be active, but it would be good to remember that during the winter it is all right to slow down a little, to take it easy. But as long as one is connected into another system that is advocated by others as this is what is needed and you must push it, then you will find yourself often under stress because you have not that time that is supposedly natural time to relax, to hibernate, to go within, to find the dream, and to live your life in this more relaxed, slow down way. Or when the moon is at an apex and it is a full moon, a supermoon during the equinox energy, to take some time to connect to these energies, to be guided by them, to allow them to show you a way through that is the path of ease and grace versus a path that is forced and applied. That during this time of the equinox, during this time of this supermoon, this awareness would ask one and all to simply relax, to take it easy, to go within, to find one's centeredness. Remember also that as those who are in control work with the element of fear, that the events that are happening right now are often very fearful. And because you are being pushed into them and told this is reality, it is hard to disassociate oneself from the ongoing events that are happening on the exterior, the events that are happening outside. If you have no way of simply relaxing and feeling the energies and flowing with those energies, then you will be pushed into energies that are being controlled and manipulated by others. At this time, there is much activity, much of it hidden, much of it secret still. You can follow, of course, the events as they unfold in your news programs and in your media. But remember, most of these events are actually manipulated events. Some call them false flag events. And with these false flag events that are pushed upon you, that if you do not have a place of your own centeredness or a realization of how to go with the flow of the incoming energies, the true energies, then you will be caught up by them, as their way of controlling and manipulating is so very strongly connected to the implementation of fear and doubt and inability to create your own reality. They have you by this awareness. Will simply leave it at that. However, as you begin to awaken and you understand, perhaps there are influences here that I know nothing about. And perhaps if I simply go with the flow, especially the internal flow, the flow from within, that is asking me not to worry about these things and to start implementing my own life, to start creating from my centeredness in alignment with the influences of solar, of spirit, of the divine source, that it will help me move forward in life. This becomes a new level of freedom for you. And while it will challenge still, of course, because you are overcoming old programs deeply initiated from the beginning of history, modern history, it is difficult to let it all go and say it will be all right, everything will be fine. I choose it this way, I focus on it this way. Yet, yet this is exactly the challenge here for you. To simply trust, have faith, be centered, understand that things are changing very rapidly as seen from the perspective of this awareness, and that there will be more major changes that are coming for you, and that this is a period of time during this full moon, during this equinox, during this season of going from winter into spring in the northern hemisphere, to take in that which is coming from within, to feel it, to align with it, to see the bigger issues of your life as an expression of the change that is happening all around you, especially in your own personal lives, as you refocus yourself, as you redefine yourself, as you open up to those influences of the stars and the planets, the solar system, the galaxies, that it is all part of the bigger plan of the unfolding and the awakening to the truth of Source itself, and how you play a part in Source, how you are a part of Source, a conscious part of Source, awake and alert to the knowledge that you are more than you have ever been told. And as you face this, and as you face the fears that are swelling up around you, that are presenting themselves to you, simply step back when this happens to you and say, it is all right, I am not afraid. I am not afraid any longer. In this you will find that as you awaken to the events that are actually happening in your life, you will become more aware and understanding of these events and more able to deal with them. And as you deal with them and they start to work out for you, you have more incentive to trust a little more. It is truly a progressive situation where you must take one step at a time, even one baby step at a time. But remember, the child eventually does stand up strongly, firmly, and does learn to walk and even to run. And you are that child awakening, uncertain still perhaps of the tottering steps that you are taking. But as you feel more comfortable in this, more complete in this, you will find that your ability to stand, to walk, and even to run will become ever stronger for you each and every day. Therefore, enjoy the supermoon, enjoy the equinox, enjoy Mercury retrograde. Let it guide you forward. Do not push in ways that feel uncomfortable to you. Relax into this time and space. Know that you are moving from those winter energies of inward dwellingness, of hibernation, into a more active time. But that at this moment, it is all right to simply have fun, relax, and be merry. And this completes this opening message from this awareness at this time.
Thank you, awareness.